Hey, it's the Chief Bonding with board games and RPGs. Now, every once in a while, an idea will possess me. And I had a weird one. We're going to call it LUNARNAUTS. LUNARNAUTS, kind of like astronauts, but LUNARNAUTS. And you're like, okay, so we're going to have people colonizing the moon. Yeah, but I had a joke idea at first. And it was that, what if there was a retirement home for the elderly on the moon? You're like, that's way too expensive. Who would do that? I'm like, I know. But my whole joke was that you're not going to fall down and bust a hip. It's 1/5 gravity. You can just catch yourself and bloop, pop yourself back up in the last part, the latter days on the moon. And you would be a LUNARNAUT. But the idea continued to possess me. And I thought, what if, we're going to call this session 0, what if I took this bizarre, funny idea and teased it out a bit? And it quickly came to mind that, let's say 1970, but it's now 2050. So you've got folks from my era are in their 80s. And let's just say, figuratively, that the Earth is underpopulated. And they need folks with a good work ethic, Gen X-ish, and skills. So engineers that maybe have been retired for 20 some years, but you know what? They're still sharp of mind and they can still be an engineer. And instead of it just being a retirement home, what if it was a work home, a LUNARNAUT? You could be repurposed. And then I teased it out a little bit more. So here's the concept. And I'm going to be using the Tales from the Loop from Free League as the rule set that will run this RPG. More on that in a little bit. So in this session 0, I'm going to set up, I think, 4 or 5 elderly characters, male, female. The idea is that there are not enough skilled folks to do all the jobs that are needed, and that the moon is in and of itself a very hazardous environment because of its low gravity, and that if you spend a long time there, it becomes very difficult to go elsewhere. So the idea is, if you're in your 80s, using whatever 2050s medicine could be, so I'm going to spool that up, I'm generating ideas on tech, but it suddenly became in my mind viable that elderly folks might find a new purpose, a extended purpose to become a LUNARNAUT. And let's say part of that was your pension or your payment for this lunar work was done up front, and it could go toward grandkids, great-grandkids, it could go towards their education, it could go towards all kinds of cool stuff for those that are on terra firma. And I thought, now that, I think, might even happen. So, using Tales from the Loop, we will get into that. I think I left, no, I have got them. I've got some character sheets. So this uses kids, but it's a real simple 4-attribute system: body, tech, heart, mind. But I know this system well because the tie-in is I've been playing this, and you can see it on my channel with my mom, who's 81. Hello, Link. Hello. Look at that. So here's what we're going to do. Obviously, if you lived on the moon, there would have to be all kinds of medical interventions. That would be part of the package to even get you up there. So the first one I'm going to call Drago from Rocky IV. You're talking testosterone, you're talking human growth hormone, maybe stem cell repair, and I'm going to put like miscellaneous other drug breakthroughs. So there'll be like the Drago. We have probably, we know professional athletes, bodybuilders, movie stars, we won't name anybody, who have used all manner of body enhancement techniques. And I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of them, especially the actor side, they look like they're in their 50s, and some of them are in their 70s. So I started thinking, if you knew you had a one-way trip, and I knew I could do it in a way that, okay, some of these might have long effects 20, 30 years out. Well, by then I'd be 100 or 110. Sounds doable. So the Drago. I also want everybody is going to have like an exoskeleton. I'll throw a photo in here, but I was watching military stuff where they were putting on this exoskeleton, kind of like Alien or Aliens, but streamlined and down. And this could be good on the moon for two things. One, yes, it can help with, you're working for 6 hours straight and your exoskeleton can can jump in and help you get the work done. But a very cool thing it could do would be to also give your bones and your body and your muscles force feedback, almost like a mock gravity. So I think it could be something that even helps keep the bones strong and the muscles strong. So an exoskeleton for everybody. He gets an exoskeleton, she gets an exoskeleton. Let's call it an ES. He gets an ES, she gets an ES. Or would it be an XO? That almost sounds better. I like EXO, an exoskeleton. So then another one would be what I want to call like science. And the other thing, well, let me round this one out. So we're talking nanobots that are on board and running around in your bloodstream and in your body fixing you. We're talking about organ replacement or synthetic organs. So they do a little study, turns out your heart is pretty rough and they're not going to expend, well, there's a synthetic organ or maybe some other type of synth organ, which is a synthetic organ. And I think we'll go in with maybe some type of using the science, so not quite the stem cell replacement, but maybe some kind of telomere breakthrough that's going on. And I will look into and kind of study these deeper if there's enough interest in this, and we'll go deeper into actual episodes. All right, that's only two. I had some other ideas in mind, but I also want to open it up to the comments. If you can think of like the Drago suite, which is all, steroids. I didn't put steroids on here. We're going to include steroids, human growth cell. If you have an idea of like a block, a pack, I have some other ideas. We'll bring them up later. So I've got like the science pack and the Drago pack. By the way, I'm going to pour Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, some of the best whiskey out there. It is like a membership deal, but we're going to pour some of that. This happens to be peated, and they've got great names. This is called Smoked Plum Lemonade. Felt like we should have a little lemonade for this show. All right, so we're going to have some sets. You've got the idea that this is going to be an old folks home on the moon, but highly, highly functional. Former engineers, guys and gals that knew how to probably even do slide rule. They grew up with the first generation of computers. They've got a very strong work ethic. Nothing against the current kids now, but come on, Gen X. We drank out of a water hose. Nobody knew where you were. You weren't tracked. You weren't scheduled. You were free and you had a great imagination. Just my 2 cents. All right, so in the comments, if you have other ideas for packs, let me know. We're going to start generating some characters here. Give me 5 male names and 5 female names from the 1970s. Let's see what we get here. All right, and I probably should have done the last names, but maybe not. We've got Michael, David, James, John, and Robert. Sounds good. We're going to do, let me keep it over here for now. Let me just do 2. We're going to have David. This pencil's killing me. David, we're scrapping it. And we're going to have James. And then female names, oh, of course, Jennifer. So we're going to have Jennifer, highly popular. There should be Jonathan on the other one. And let's go with Michelle. There was a lot of Michelles that I remember. And for the last one, we're just going to go random. So I'm going to do 5. If it's even, it will be a woman. If it's odd, it will be a man. Even. So I need another female name. We will go with Amy. All right, so these will be our 5 micronauts. Now, I also want, and we're going to go with the middle one, the one that I rolled for randomly. I wanted to use just this little dice dropping effect here with 6-sided die. And what this is going to do is I wanted somebody that wouldn't be, there's going to be engineers, probably mechanical, software, rocket, but all of those four will have very typical kind of like NASA jobs, but I wanted an outlier, thinking that maybe they would pick someone that would be a little odd. So on this, we're going to drop some dice. Oh no. We're going to then, I can already see, so I use this to quickly create some NPCs. I can already see one of them is mentally slow, which this sheet covers all manners of kind of conditions. So, all right, let's see what we got. We've got traditional, faith, and peace. Okay, got it. So these are going to be some, and I'm only doing it for this Amy character. We do have mentally slow. Oh, and there's a number 1 that matters as well because, so under this, for the mentally slow, it's the parents were mentally slow. So I'm seeing Amy here being like extremely empathetic. That makes sense too, although, okay. So parents were mentally slow. All right, we have a 4 down here, so Robin Hoodish, okay. And this is, with the 4, this is a secret. So she kind of is a believer of take from the rich, give to the poor, but it's kind of tamped down. So, or flat out a secret. And that'll be enough to know it's like the Robin Hood complex. And then we have, 6 is, she believes others are extremely unmotivated. Okay. All right. So I wanted to come up with some general quirks for one of the characters. That'll be Amy. So that's done everything I need there. We're going to come in with David. So for this, I want to simply use the Mythic Emulator. You're seeing the blue main cover now for the first edition. Using the Mythic Emulator, I'm going to let it give me yes/no questions. So underneath Tales from the Loop, what is his drive? I think his drive has to be like becoming useful again. So I'm going to go with, I believe this is likely, so that's a 75% chance. 39, so yes. His main drive is wants to be useful again. His anchor. So an anchor is something that's going to hold you strong. Let's go with that first kind of a photo of his grandchild. So let's just go 50-50 because who knows what the anchor is. 50 or less? Yes, grandchild. 26, yes. We're going to go with grandson, photo grandson, and I think with that is that a whole idea that I talked about that the pension that he earned is going to his grandson's future education living. Sounds like a good anchor. Needs to have a problem. For this, I'm going to use the back of the mythic chart for action subject. So what is his problem? 94 is going to be a dispute. Okay. Dispute. And 48 is success. Success. Okay. I think that he was a brilliant engineer, but there was some clear disputes that kind of slowed down his progress, which is why, again, he wants to be useful again. I think he always believed like he could have hit that higher level and being a LUNARNAUT would be it. I like it. So there were some disputes, like he wasn't as successful as he thought he could be. So I think being a LUNARNAUT would play right into the next thing, which is pride. He will end up being in the first batch of LUNARNAUTS. The idea of being in the first batch of elderly LUNARNAUTS would put you down for all of future history. I think he would really dig that. Description will come back later. And favorite song. Favorite song from the 80s. Bon Jovi was coming in. And What if it was, and I can't remember, put it in the comments or I'll find it, but the Bon Jovi for Young Guns. I think that was Bon Jovi that had the theme song for Young Guns. But we're going to put that on there. Theme song, Young Guns. Don't know why, but there we go. Now, looking at David, I think what I'm going to do is we have Amy kind of generally fleshed out. We have David. I think I'm going to do Jennifer. And then if you guys like this, I'll end up doing like a little extra supplement for James and, is it James? Boy, I could barely write, and Michelle. But let me do Jennifer next. Now, there are some different things on here. There's relationships. There's a special item you can have. I still have to do the attributes, but some of that's going to depend on like the Drago and, you know, where's their strength coming from? Is it going to be more mind, heart, tech? And I can figure that out probably on episode 1 if there's enough interest in this. Check my time. Plenty of time. Sip. Woo, smoked plum lemonade. Okay, there's a little citrus. All right, so we know Jennifer. We're going to also have Jennifer as an engineer. I'm thinking like a habitat engineer. Make a note. So her skill was all about, you know, special habitats and things. I don't even know, that just came to mind. So if we were going to go with her drive, that one's pretty easy when I'm thinking habitat engineer. Of course, she would be interested, maybe had even been reading up on the NASA-style habitats that were up on the moon and always had ideas of different types of construction or habitats that would work. So that's good. Her drive is going to be creating new habitat domes. Got it. Her problem. We're going to again use, I think she's extremely nervous of the hazards of the moon. So 50-50. Is she nervous about the hazards? 35, yes. So let's go with very concerned about the safety. And I want to do a little side parentheses. I think it's the idea of suffocating to death. It's not so much just that you're on the moon, but in a habitat that goes south, you're going to suffocate. That would be terrible. What is her anchor? Is it family? 50-50. 99. So when you get above 91 or higher on a question, not only is it a no, it's a heck no. Okay, so I'm going to say not only is it not family, people are out. So maybe she has, oh, let's go with a cat. Not that she's a cat lady, but I can picture her. Just, first of all, I was just going through, what's the book? I'll throw the picture up, but I've been reading like artists that did book covers in the 70s, and they have a whole section on space cats. Bam. But we still got to ask, 50-50, is it space cats? 87, so that's a no. I would have loved space cats. Let's go with dog, 50-50. 50 even, so it's 50 or below, or it's a dog. Wow, so part of her deal, her anchor, will be bringing her dog along. Well, she is a habitat specialist, so we will have a lunar dog on top of it. That's interesting. All right, so that's her anchor. What is her pride? So I'm trying to think if her pride, is it something to do with her job of habitat engineer? 50-50. Oh, 99. That's another hard no. So her pride has nothing to do with her degree or her expertise or her PhD. So her pride, and we know her anchor isn't family, it's dog. So what else would it, if we know it's a hard no that it's not work, well then it's got to be a hobby. All right, is it one of her hobbies? 92. No, it's not a hobby. Okay. The dog? 28. Okay. Her pride is the dog. Maybe she's taught the dog, you know, all kinds of special tricks, and it's almost like a human. Pride is the dog and special tricks. Well, no wonder she wouldn't leave the dog behind. So this is one cool dog. Favorite song. Let's go to popular 1980s. We'll go like she's in her 10 to 20-year-old stage. Song for girls. And I want 5 of them. I said girls 5. That may mess up Grok. Let's see what happens. Here are 5 popular 1980s songs. Girls just want to have fun. Like a Virgin, Eternal Flame, I Want to Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me. Oh, I like it. And Material Girl from Madonna. Well, I don't know which one she would pick. So we're going to let the dice. If we get a 6, we re-roll. 5, Material Girl from Madonna. Love it. All right, so we've got Jennifer, we've got David, and we've got Amy. Amy needs a little bit of things that are going to be on this sheet. So, going right back to that list of the popular songs, I'm going to ask for 5 more because they've got to be different. And we're going to do the same thing for Amy. 5 as well. 5 is Heaven is a Place on Earth. Love that song. We've got to figure out traditional faith and peace. So what if, but she has a Robin Hood, a secret Robin Hood complex. Interesting. Parents are mentally slow. I've got it. I think Amy's job is like psychologist. And it sounds like a very interesting psychologist. So she's got faith and peace as like a cornerstone. Her parents were both a little mentally slow, so I can imagine she would be kind of, it kind of makes her very open-hearted. She has that secret Robin Hood complex of take from the rich, give to the poor. And then we have, others seem to be extremely unmotivated. Maybe she uses that with her psychological skills. We need an anchor. What would her anchor be? Let's start again with simple. Family back on terra firma. 50-50. 46, yes. So let's just go with extended family. Maybe the parents are even still alive. So our anchor is, let's just say family on Earth. All right, so you've got the concept. If you want me to flesh out the other 2 characters, please put it in the comments. The more feedback I get here, the better, because what I'm trying to do is just when a spark hits me, do a quick little show like this, session 0 it. If it gets a lot of attention, then maybe I move that into some episodes, kind of like when I was doing the Neuralink stuff. If it gets almost no interest at all, I preserved an idea. If it won't leave me, I may come back and still do the show, but maybe another idea comes along and I can just say, well, that's parked. Who knows? Maybe we'll do it when I'm retired. So the feedback here will be crucial. Again, the idea is these are LUNARNAUTS. They're all going to be 80s plus. They're going to be augmented, whether it's the Drago kit, whether it's the science kit, or please, again, in the comments, if you have an idea for like a suite. It doesn't mean I can't end up kind of mixing and matching, but part of my idea was this is the first time with these LUNARNAUTS, and everyone's going to have an EXO suit, but, oh, you know what else I wanted them to have? An Optimus. Now, it doesn't have to be Tesla, but I want them to be, there's going to be some AI robots that are clearly be assisting as well. And I'm going to just put that one of either David or Michelle, that'll be their expertise. So we'll come back to that. But if you have an idea for a suite of things, boom, I want these folks to be kind of one-dimensional. And then as the LUNARNAUTS are up on the moon, they may find out, hey, the Drago suite kit works better, or you know what, the nanobots are keeping everything flowing. It's good. We got brand new synthetic organs. you know, old Jennifer can go for you know, till she's 130. She's gonna get bored up on the moon. You have the concept. Please give me some comments on it. And if there's enough interest, like I said, we'll come back and we'll play on the moon. Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs. See you guys. Bye.